Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am privileged and honored to invite the Minister of Education all the way from Sierra Leone, Mr. Sajo Aziz Kamara, for his brief remarks. Deputy Minister, please. The Deputy Minister of Education, Sierra Leone.
Thank you, Moderator. Distinguished Honorable Minister for Federal Education, Dr. Maruf Tunji Alausa, the Honorable Minister of State for Education, Professor Sunaibai Said Aman, the Senator, Permanent Secretary, Mr. Abel Olumuya and Nathan, Big Brother, Professor Ishak Oluyede, the Registrar of Jamb, all Vice Chancellors and Principals here present, good morning. I bring warm felicitations from His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone and Chairman of ECOWAS, and from the Honorable Minister of Technical and Higher Education, Dr. Hajar Ramatulai Wuri, who deeply appreciates the long-standing collaboration between our two countries in advancing education and human capital development. Permit me to sincerely thank the Honorable Federal Minister of Education and the Registrar of Jamb for the invitation to participate in this important 2026 policy meeting on admissions into tertiary institutions and the 6th edition of the National Tertiary Education Performance Merit Award. The significance we attach to this engagement is reflected in the composition of our delegation from Sierra Leone. The Honorable Minister ensured that I attend alongside the Vice Chancellor and Principals of Jala University and the Ernest Bai Koroma University of Science and Technology as a demonstration of our commitment to learning from the rich experience of Jamb. Since 2018, Sierra Leone has made tremendous progress in education through the introduction of free quality school education initiative and the transformation of our higher education following the enactment of the University Act 2021. These reforms have significantly expanded access and strengthened governance within the tertiary education sector. However, while progress is being made, much remains to be done in fully implementing both the spirit and letter of the University Act. With over 22% of our national budget invested in education, school enrollment and university throughput has increased phenomenally. This success has also brought attendant challenges, particularly in effectively managing admissions into tertiary institutions. It is therefore imperative that we urgently move towards a centralized admission system aligned with our vision of digital transformation. We believe the support, expertise, and lessons learned from Jamb will greatly assist Sierra Leone in streamlining admissions processes across both higher education and technical and vocational education and training institutions. Our presence here today is not only in appreciation, but also a clear demonstration of our commitment to this process that has been tried and tested. We pledge our utmost cooperation until its successful completion. Commendably, Jamb has maintained a renowned reputation of quality service, integrity, transparency, equity, and corruption-free delivery under the leadership of Professor Oluyede. Finally, on behalf of the government and people of Sierra Leone, I wish this policy meeting fruitful deliberation and continued success. I congratulate the organizers for their dedication and excellent efforts under the leadership of the registrar and the support of the ministers. As a proactive step, we are looking forward to welcoming the Jamb delegation on the 29th of May to kickstart our process of establishing our own centralized admission system. Let me end by taking this opportunity to invite you all to join us in February 2027 to celebrate the bicentenary anniversary of Farabe College, Sierra Leone, which used to be the Athens of West Africa. We particularly encourage alumni from Nigeria to join us. I thank you and God bless your deliberation today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think our brother, all the way from Sierra Leone, deserves a warmer round of applause. That's Mr. Sajo Aziz Kamara, Deputy Minister of Education in Sierra Leone. What he has come to do here today is a graphic representation of the success of the Professor Oluyede-led Jamb. So a round of applause for the staff of Jamb. A graphic representation, it's also an extension of the graphic representation of the success of the work of the Federal Minister of Education. By extension, a graphic representation of the success of the present government, and by extension, a graphic representation of the success of you and I as Vice Chancellor, Rector, Provost, even as a student, as an ordinary Nigerian. I think that we should all give ourselves this, I'm joining you, this very round warm of applause. Thank you, our brothers from Sierra Leone. And one of the successes that we achieved is the fact that the food we served this morning was very, very delicious. So delicious that somebody left his phone in the canteen. So that's another graphic representation of how delicious our food was and will be. Don't forget yourselves when it's lunchtime. We now call on the highly successful, delectable Minister of State for Education, Professor Suwaiba Said Ahmed, to deliver her address. It's not a goodwill message, it's an address.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Let me start by first recognizing my brother, our visionary, passionate, and dedicated leader who turned bold ideas into reality. Thank you for giving direction to the Ministry of Education. I would like to also recognize our visiting Deputy Minister of Education from Sierra Leone, Honorable Sajo Aziz Kamara. Thank you for coming over. It shows you that Jamb really work, because they are coming over on a study visit to replicate what we are doing in Nigeria, because the system is efficient and effective. Thank you for coming over, and congratulations, the Registrar Jamb. Let me also recognize the Chairman, Senate Committee on IT and Cybersecurity, our eloquent Senator, Shuaib Salihu, who is a brother. Thank you for all your speeches and accolades to both the Ministry of Education and also to Jamb. I would like to also recognize our able permanent secretary, Mr. Abel Enetan, who is also soon to be Dr. Abel Enetan. He's now my student. I'm giving him a PhD degree, though not from my university. I would like to also recognize our host. I think I will not be mistaken if I say the game changer in the examination system in Nigeria, Professor Ishaq O. Oloyede. I think today some of us may even cry because it's going to be his last policy meeting. He has been there for 10 years, has changed the history of Jamb in the country, has done a lot of good things. 10 years is a long time, but we are so not happy to see you go. But notwithstanding, we thank you very much. And as Senator Shu'aib rightly mentioned, you are not tired. Definitely there is another space waiting for you. We'll just give you a gracing period to relax a bit, and then we'll call you back. Other executives and CEOs that are here present, NUC, NBTE, NCCE, NIMC, NEL Fund, and others that are here present, because I cannot see Third Fund. I don't know whether he has sent a representative. NYSC, I don't know also if the representative is here, but we all recognize you. I recognize you as contributors to the success of Jamb. Directors from the Ministry of Education and Jamb, thank you for all your hard work. Vice Chancellors, Rectors, and my colleagues, the provosts that are here present, thank you for always being there and always attending or answering the call from either the Ministry of Education or from other major stakeholders. Our distinguished Jamb stakeholders, we recognize you, we recognize your support, and thank you for being here. Other invited dignitaries, gentlemen of the press, good morning all. It gives me pleasure to address this distinguished gathering at the 2026 policy meeting on admissions to tertiary institutions in Nigeria and the 6th edition of the National Tertiary Admission Performance Merit Awards. I commend the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board for sustaining this important annual engagement, which continues to serve as a strategic platform for strengthening transparency, fairness, and accountability in Nigeria's tertiary admission processes. This policy meeting remains one of the most significant events in our education calendar because it brings together critical stakeholders to collectively deliberate on admission guidelines, institutional capacities, quality assurance, and access to tertiary education in Nigeria. It reflects our shared commitment to building an admission system that is merit-driven, inclusive, credible, and responsive to national development goals. I am particularly delighted that this year's event also features the 6th edition of the National Tertiary Admission Performance Merit Award, which recognizes excellence, innovation, compliance, and outstanding performance among tertiary institutions and stakeholders in the admission process. Recognitions of excellence is essential in promoting healthy competition, institutional efficiency, and adherence to established admission policies and standards. Distinguished participants, education remains the foundation of national progress, and access to quality tertiary education is critical to developing skilled manpower needed for Nigeria's socio-economic transformation. However, expanding access must go hand in hand with maintaining standards, equity, and integrity within the admission process. The Federal Ministry of Education remains committed to strengthening reforms that promote transparency and efficiency in tertiary admissions. We will continue to support policies that uphold merit while ensuring inclusiveness for all qualified candidates, irrespective of gender, background, or geographical location. In doing so, we must also continue to leverage technology and innovation to improve admission processes and eliminate all forms of malpractice and irregularities. As we deliberate today, I urge all stakeholders to remain guided by the principle of fairness, accountability, and national interest. Our collective responsibility is to ensure that every qualified Nigerian student is given a fair opportunity to pursue higher education in an environment that promotes excellence and character development. I also wish to emphasize the importance of aligning admissions with national manpower needs and emerging global realities. Institutions must continue to prioritize programs that equip graduates with relevant skills, entrepreneurial competencies, digital literacy, and the capacity to contribute meaningfully to national development in the 21st century economy. Furthermore, the Federal Ministry of Education is advancing its dual mandate of policy leadership and institutional development, including ongoing efforts to strengthen teacher education and enhance the role of colleges of education within the tertiary education ecosystem. In collaboration with relevant regulatory bodies, particularly the National University Commission, the Ministry is supporting initiatives that will enable colleges of education to award degrees, thereby improving the quality of teacher preparation and expanding opportunity for students across the country. Permit me at this point to commend the registrar, management, and staff of Jamb for their dedication to improving the credibility and efficiency of the nation's admission system. Their efforts in deepening technology, innovation, and institutional reforms have significantly enhanced public confidence in the process. To the institutions and individuals receiving awards today, I extend my heartfelt congratulations. Your recognition is a testament to hard work, compliance with standards, and commitment to excellence. I encourage you to sustain these achievements and continue contributing positively to the advancement of tertiary education in Nigeria. As we look ahead, let us continue to work together to build a tertiary education system that is accessible, globally competitive, and capable of producing graduates who will drive innovation, unity, and sustainable national development. On behalf of the Federal Ministry of Education, I wish you a fruitful deliberation and a successful event. Thank you, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you, Honorable Minister of State. Clerk of the Chairman Senate Committee, please come in. The chairman is waiting for you. Please come in, please. Thank you very much. While the minister was giving her remarks, the chairman, Senate Committee on Tertiary Education and TED Fund, Senator Mutari M. Anduse came in. Senator, Distinguished Senator, you're welcome. The chairman, Senate Committee on TED Fund did not come alone. He came with one of the members of the committee, Senator Professor Anthony Ani. Sir, you're welcome. He's a member of the committee and Vice Chair, Southeast Development Commission. We also have Rep of the DG NYC, Mrs. Rachel Edewo. Ma, you're welcome. At this point, I will want to invite the Chairman, Senate Committee on TED Fund for his goodwill message. Distinguished Senator, sir.
The Honorable Minister of Education, the Registrar of Jamb, the Honorable Minister of State, the Permanent Secretary, the ESNUC, my respected colleague and learned friend, Senator Anthony Ani, who is here to represent the Senate members, the University Vice Chancellors here present, the Provost of the Polytechnics, and the all protocol duly and respectably observed. It is my singular honor and privilege to be here today. Very importantly, to attend this policy meeting, which is a key to success of the educational sector in Nigerian university and other polytechnics and federal colleges of education. The milestone done by the Jamb to enhance credibility and affordability of education in Nigeria is a very worthy of praise. And we are aware that every year they have this very important policy meeting to discuss and chart the way forward for the cut-off points for all the courses we have in various fields of studies in science and arts. So we appreciate the effort being made by Professor Edele for doing that with the support of the ministry. We in the Senate, we are very determined to ensure that we align ourselves with the policies to enhance educational development in Nigeria. And we want to assure you this effort that is being made by the present government to support educational sector in all aspects, be it infrastructure, be it the welfare of the university lecturers, and also the students who are being taught with a new and supported innovative, which is the NEL fund that is helping to pay for their registration fee and their stipend. I believe it's a very commendable effort to the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces, because it's the only program that is very clear to support educational programs in all aspects. So we want to appreciate the effort of the Honorable Minister also in working very hard to enhance peace and stability in the universities and polytechnics and federal colleges of education, and also to come out with policies that will support this country. We were in Lagos last month to support the program of those that are graduates, so that they can be independently operating their private businesses. This one also is a milestone. And we will work with all the critical stakeholders to see how best we can move forward. We can support any law that will enhance progress in this country. That is why our leadership and we as committee, we are always functional in supporting and enhancing the educational progress of this country, because it's our legislative function, duty to make sure that these universities and polytechnics and the Ministry of Education is being supported and is being carried out in all their activities. Thank you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Senator Montari Danduti, the Chairman, Senate Committee on Tertiary Education and TED Fund.
Thank you, and thank you. We have another senator in the House. Incidentally, my teacher, senator from my state, distinguished Senator Patrick Abba Moro. Sir, and I also want to invite you for your goodwill message, sir. Goodwill message, sir, by Senator Patrick Abba Moro. Oh, it's a member of the committee. Okay. Oh, I learned he's a member of the Senate Committee on TED Fund, so the chairman has spoken on his behalf. I just invite him to have a handshake with the registrar and the minister. Distinguished Senator, I say you should have a handshake with the registrar and the minister. The chairman has spoken on your behalf, sir. and for me to also have the privilege of shaking my own teacher.
Okay, the Minority Senate Leader, Senator Abamoro. I was about to tell the Senator, the Chairman, Senate Committee on Tertiary Education and TED Fund, about the fact that hard work, one of the representation, I just wanted to tell the Senator in charge of tertiary education in the House that the Sierra Leoneans are here, and that's one of the successes that he, along with the ministry, the entire government, and the people of Nigeria have worked towards. But he's talking, and I'm sure that the PCA will tell him that later on. I would like to call on, can we say he whose head is full, and we have all come here to cut? That's the Minister of Education, Dr. Maruf Tunji Lausa, to come up and deliver his address. The Honorable Minister, sir.
Thank you, Senator. Please be seated. Today is a great day. Jamb is well respected. We have a lot of senators in the House, but I'll do it, my recognition to for the senators in order they came in, so that we can, timeliness matters in the Ministry of Education. So I'll begin by recognizing my dear brother, the Chairman of Senate Committee on ICT and Cybersecurity, Senator Shuaib Salisu. Thank you for all your service to our country. The technology platform, the innovation we're seeing today in Jamb was started by this senator. Is futuristic and is fervent and determination to use technology to improve our system led us to where we are today. Thank you again. We can't thank you enough. And as what you started has now put Jamb in a place that Jamb now conducts one of the most freest exams in the world, devoid of fraudulent activities. I would also like to recognize my brother, the Chairman, Senate Committee on Education, Senator Mukhtar Dandutse. Thank you for all your service to our country. And I particularly want to thank you again for the collaboration and the cooperation you've given us at the Ministry of Education. We've never had it this good with our relationship with the National Assembly. Thank you so much. And please help me give Senator Dandutse a big round of applause for his leadership. And also to Senator Anthony Ani, a member of the Senate Committee on Tertiary Education, as well as Minority Leader Senator Abamoro. Thank you so much for all your service and the your collaboration with us at the Ministry of Education. Now, let me now go to my colleague, my dear sister, a lady that believes so much in giving the highest quality of education to every single Nigerian child. She wakes up every morning, she thinks education, she drinks education, she lives education. Professor Suwaiba Saad Ahmad, thank you for your service to this country and for continuing to work hard to meet President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's mandate to us, which is every single child in this country must get the highest quality of education that is comparable to anywhere in the world. And we can all attest to that the education landscape today in Nigeria has been transformed significantly. Thank you, Professor Suwaiba Saad Ahmad. To the engineers of the ministry, Mr. Ebel Eniton, a permanent secretary, thank you for your leadership. We appreciate you so much. And to the reason why we're here, the host, the registrar of Jamb, I can thank you for the way you've positioned and repositioned and continue to position the Joint Admission Matriculation Board. Thank you for your service to the country. To the cheaters out there, if you think you can use AI, you can use technology to game Jamb, let me tell you, and let me speak directly to you, Jamb is ahead of you. So it's better you just give up, read your books, and come and do the exam and test your ability. If you think you want to game the system, we will catch you, and we will prosecute you, and you'll get punished for it. Thank you, Professor Oloyede. And to the Executive Secretary of NUC, Professor Ribadu, Executive Secretary of NCC, Dr. Pamela Ajala, thank you for all your service to our country. To all the Vice Chancellors of all our universities that are present here today, the rectors of all our polytechnics that are present here today, as well as the provost of all our colleges of education. I commend you all for your service to every Nigerian student. Your hard work in ensuring that your various campuses, you keep them safe, you provide environment where these children can go to school, well nurtured, and impact knowledge on them. We don't take your effort for granted. Thank you so much. I think, give yourself a big round of applause. To all the head of agencies that are here today, as well as our various directors from the Federal Ministry of Education, thank you. And to the admissions officers of our universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education, we appreciate all your work and everything you continue to do, and to ensure that our admission processes are merit-based. Thank you so much. I think I missed, there was a protocol error. Let me recognize our visitor, the Deputy Minister for Education for Sierra Leone. Thank you for finding time to join us today. And members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it gives me a great pleasure for the second time to address this distinguished gathering at the 2026 policy meeting on admissions into our tertiary institutions. This forum has over the years transcended its procedural origins to become a defining platform for shaping national policy direction in higher education. It is here that we collectively make decisions that determine not only who gains access to tertiary education, but also the credibility, the fairness, and long-term sustainability of our education system. Permit me to therefore use this opportunity to commend the registrar and staff of the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, and indeed you all, for the roles you have all played individually and collectively in consistently ensuring the successes of these policy meetings. Over the years, results of which have engendered the trust and confidence in our admission system. We meet at a time when Nigeria's education sector is undergoing deliberate and far-reaching reforms. These reforms are neither incidental nor cosmetic. They are rooted in a clear recognition that the future of our nation depends on the strength, integrity, relevance of our educational institution. In particular, the tertiary education subsector must rise to meet the demands of a rapidly changing world, one defined by technology advancement, global competition, and the imperative of skill-driven development. Over the past year, the federal government has focused on a coherent framework that addresses access, quality, governance, and accountability. At the heart of this effort lies a fundamental commitment that every qualified Nigerian should have a fair opportunity to pursue higher education, that such opportunity must be anchored on merit, transparency, and institutional integrity. One of the most consequential steps in this regard is the operationalization of the National Student Loan Scheme under the Nigeria Educational Loan Fund. This initiative represents a major shift in how we approach access to higher education. For decades, financial constraints have constituted a significant barrier for many capable Nigerians. By introducing an interest-free loan system that supports both tuition and basic upkeep, government has signaled its resolve that this barrier in a structured and to remove this barrier in a structured and sustainable manner. Now, we have to give all this kudos go to our president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, please, that knows that every single Nigeria should be given opportunity to have a fair chance in life. And before the advent of this president, there are a lot of brilliant young Nigerians that struggled through secondary school, have amazing results in their WAEC or NECO, passed Jamb very well, but could not go to a tertiary institution. Today, that problem, that hindrance is gone forever. Every single child today in this country now has access to tertiary education, irrespective of their background, if they're indigent or their family is poor. We thank you, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for breaking this barrier forever in this country and opening access to millions of children in this country. However, expanding access must go hand in hand with strengthening accountability. It is for this reason that we have placed renewed emphasis on transparency within our tertiary institutions. Public universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education must operate with level of openness that reflects their public mandate. The requirement for institutions to publish key data ranging from student enrollment figures to financial allocations and research support form part of a broader effort to entrench culture of accountability. It is only when stakeholders, including government, parents, and the wider public, are adequately informed that trust in the system can be sustained. Distinguished stakeholders, the question of admission remains central to this trust. The integrity of the admission process is the foundation upon which the legitimacy of our institution rests. In this regard, the role of Joint Admission and Matriculation Board has been both critical and commendable. Through the Central Admission Processing System, CAPS, a transparent and standardized mechanism has been established to ensure fairness and equity in the placement of candidates. Let me reiterate, without equivocation, that admissions conducted outside this framework are illegal and will not be recognized. The era in which institutions operated parallel admission system, often to the detriment of deserving students, must come to an end. I've resisted many attempts at condoning illegality in the admission processes. I will not be part to such actions. Any institution found to have conducted admissions outside the centralized admission processes will be held accountable, and appropriate sanctions shall be applied without hesitation. Heads of institutions, whether in the public or private sector, must recognize that such violations could result in severe consequences, including the suspension of your operating license or other regulatory actions where applicable. Government will continue to enforce compliance with this policy, and appropriate sanctions will be applied where necessary. This is not a punitive measure. It's a necessary step towards restoring order and credibility in our education system. Closely related to this is the issue of admission standards, including the determination of minimum age. Following extensive consultations and policy reviews, government has maintained 16 years as the minimum age for admission into any other tertiary institutions. This position reflects a careful balance between inclusivity and academic readiness, while we recognize the existence of exceptionally gifted individuals. Such cases must be treated within clearly defined and rigorously enforced guidelines to preserve the integrity of the system as a whole. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, there's compelling evidence, including empirical data from Jamb, that colleges of education possess significant capacity to admit willing candidates, particularly from their immediate localities. This is attributable to a range of factors, including proximity, cultural alignment, affordability, and community-based demand for teacher education. Harnessing this latent capacity is critical not only for expanding access, but for addressing persistent challenge of our out-of-school adolescents. At this point, I will announce a major structural but transformative change yet again in our education system. Accordingly, in recognition of this reality, the Federal Ministry of Education, in consultation with relevant stakeholders, has taken a deliberate policy position. Accordingly, candidates seeking admission into the NCE program who possess a minimum of 4 credits will no longer be required to sit for the UTME. However, it is imperative to emphasize that such candidates shall mandatorily register with Jamb, and their credentials shall be duly screened, verified, and certified for the insurance of admission to our CAPS in accordance with extant regulation. In the same vein, this exemption shall be extended to candidates seeking admission into National Diploma Program in non-technology, agriculture, and agriculture-related courses. This approach strikes a necessary balance between widening access and preserving the integrity of our admission system. It will not only ease the pressure associated with UTME, but also encourage greater participation in teachers' education and our agriculture programs, both of which are critical to our national development. What we have in the country today, and I'm going to give 2 examples here. We already have problems of out-of-school children, and now we're creating a second problem of out-of-school adolescents. So look at that the young demographic end. It's like we're damaging this young future generation. And that's why we've taken this critical effort. We've seen that a lot of colleges of education across the country, they've been very successful in recruiting students in their community to come to school. I'll give you an example today. With our dual mandate, we want to build capacity in our colleges of education. I'll give an example of Federal College of Education, Technical Gombe. Through its efforts at recruiting children within the community, they admitted a total of 3,545 students last year. That's a remarkable feat. I think if the provost of Federal College of Education, Technical Gombe here, could you stand up and be recognized? the Provost, Federal College of Education, Technical, Gombe. So, we should give him a big round of applause. Also, I believe other colleges of education have done this as well. But then, I'm also aware of Federal College of Education, Owo, who also in the last academic session recruited almost 1,000 students in their locale. Let's give him a round of applause as well. So this sea change that we've now made is now to legitimize these students. We will now get them into our system so that they will have a matric number and they will not have any barrier to their progression for the progression of their careers into the future. I'm particularly delighted to note the continued success of the deliberate effort of the board in promoting inclusive participation for persons living with disabilities through the waiver application fee and other targeted intervention. This initiative is not only humane, but also powerful affirmation of a national commitment to equity and equal opportunity. The increasing participation of candidates with disabilities in our examinations and admission processes is clear evidence that when barriers are removed, potential is unleashed. Government will continue to strengthen this trajectory by expanding support system, improving accessibility, and deepening institutional responsiveness to the needs of this important segment of our population. I therefore urge all institutions represented here today to complement these efforts by creating inclusive learning environments that go beyond access to ensure dignity, support, and success for every learner, regardless of physical or social limitations. Beyond admissions, we're also confronted with the imperative of aligning our education processes with contemporary realities. The global shift towards digitalization is not a distant prospect. It is an immediate necessity. Accordingly, we are advancing the full adoption of computer-based testing across national exams, while also encouraging institutions to integrate digital competencies, artificial intelligence, and emerging technologies into their curricula. The objective of this is clear. Our graduates must not only possess theoretical knowledge, but also the practical skills required to thrive in a modern economy. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is equally important to recognize a major milestone achieved by the federal government in stabilizing a tertiary education system. More importantly, the resolution of the long-standing agreement with our academic staff union. The 2025 agreement represents a decisive breakthrough in resolving disputes that had pervaded our education system for many years. It introduces comprehensive review of academic staff welfare, including improvements in remuneration and restructuring of allowances to promote transparency, productivity, and accountability. We have also since signed our agreement with ASUP, the Polytechnic Academic Union. We've also signed our agreement with COESU, the Colleges of Education Academic Union. We're finalizing our agreement with the various non-academic unions of our universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education. Education is the bedrock of our development. And the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is determined and committed to improving the welfare of both academic and non-academic unions and the welfare of the entire workers in Nigeria. But we have to be patient. These were problems that were inherited for 20 years ago. We have the commitment, the will, the political will, and we're addressing this with all truthfulness. But we need to do it in a way that we're very diligent proactive about it. We shouldn't be pushed and rushed, but you have a commitment. We will resolve all these lingering issues in a mutually respectful manner with all academic and non-academic unions. And when you have a president, in the person of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a president that makes his promises and fulfills all his promises, you can be rest assured that all these issues will be tackled, but tackled in a way that's completely resolved, in a way that those issues are resolved in a sustainable manner, so that government that will come decades from now will not have to meet the same problem that we met. It also provides a more comprehensive framework. Our agreement with the academic and non-academic unions also provide comprehensive framework for funding research, institutional development, and thereby addressing some of the underlying causes of recurring industrial actions. This achievement is not merely administrative, it's a national turning point. It reassures our students, parents, and the global academic community that Nigeria is committed to building a stable, predictable, and globally competitive tertiary education ecosystem. In the same vein, the federal government has intensified efforts to combat examination malpractice and related infractions. The credibility of a certificate depends on the integrity of the processes through which they are earned. We are therefore deploying an enhanced verification system, strengthening supervision mechanism, and fostering collaboration among relevant agencies to ensure that malpractice is decisively curtailed. Institutional leaders must recognize that responsibility for maintaining standard rests squarely on their shoulders. It is equally important to acknowledge that meaningful reforms require a stable and predictable academic environment. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, perhaps the most defining feature of our current approach is a deliberate shift from policy formulation to policy implementation. For too long, our sector has been characterized by well-articulated policies that fail to translate into tangible outcomes. We are reversing this trend. A guiding principle is simple. The success of any reforms lies not in its announcement, but in its execution. It is in this spirit that we have adopted an implementation-focused approach, ensuring that policies are backed with clear timelines, measurable targets, and robust monitoring mechanisms. I wish to once again commend the Joint Admission Matriculation Board for its exemplary deployment of technology in managing the nation's admission system. The reliability and integrity of its data have significantly enhanced policy planning and decision making. Indeed, whenever I request data from the board, I'm assured of its accuracy and its timeliness. This is the standard we're striving to institutionalize across our entire education sector as we move towards a more data-driven, evidence-based system of governance. And I'll use this point to challenge the head of our institutions, the vice chancellors, rectors, and provosts. You need to digitalize your student population. There's several times I've reached out to so many universities or polytechnics. Tell me the number of your students. It takes hours, days, to get those information back to us. This should not be happening in this day. There are a lot of technology, cheap technology out there that you can deploy. Because if you don't know the exact accuracy of your student census, how can you plan? And that's one of the reasons today we have acute shortages of accommodation. The students, we have an education system that we promise the student that will provide accommodation for them. And you have situation on the average, most tertiary institutions today, you're not able, the best of you will probably be able to provide accommodation for 30% of your students. There's a polytechnic that I visited just 2 weeks ago. They have a population of 30,000. They only had 1,600 bed spaces. And it's a perennial problem in all our tertiary institutions. Today, we're running an evidence-based governance. And when you run an evidence-based governance, you need data. Like what the president would say, if you don't have data, it's like you're flying blind. So I'm challenging you all. This is to quickly move to ensure you put a proper digital platform in place to be able to account for all your students. I was told, because when I began to ask, why do we have a situation where our universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education that should be the center, the front runner of deploying technology in the country, why are they so reticent in developing a situation where they can give us the numbers of their students? I was told that several head of institutions, you game the admission process. Now, let me be very clear. This is not threat. Because we're doing everything to support you and meet the president's mandate of ensuring that we have the highest quality of education. We're doing everything, deploying a lot of funds to you. The gaming of our admission, of the centralized admission process is over. It's over from this year. We have about 6,000 students now who were admitted by community recruitment to our colleges of education. We will give them condonement for the last time this year. This will be the final condonement. We've removed the part by now saying colleges of education and ND in agreed and agri-related programs would not have to sit for UTME. So from this year, I'm imploring every head of institution, please do not admit outside your quota. We would deploy a monitoring team, not by Jamb again. We'll work with Jamb. The Ministry of Education is taking this responsibility head-on in sanitizing this process once and for all. I'm warning you now, please, do not admit outside the caps. If we find any head of institution wanting, you will be severely penalized. We have to protect the integrity of the process we've collectively agreed on. In conclusion, the task before us is both significant and urgent. We are called upon to build a tertiary education system that is accessible, yet rigorous, inclusive, yet merit-driven, and innovative, yet firmly grounded on principles of accountability and excellence. This is not a task for government alone. It requires the active collaboration of all stakeholders represented here today. I do not doubt that working together, we can achieve these objectives and lay a solid foundation for the future of higher education in Nigeria. On this note, it is my pleasure to declare open the 2026 policy meeting on admissions to tertiary institutions and wish all a productive and forward-looking deliberation. Thank you for your attention, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you, our very distinguished Honorable Minister of Education. Please, can we clap for him some more time? What do you expect from a medical doctor? Rather than being very surgical. The minister has taken education into the theater, and he has done a very good job of it, and the patient has been discharged. My only contribution is that, please, when others are losing their heads, ensure that you keep yours. When the minister says please, and he said it again, please, don't admit outside caps. I believe nobody wants to be the scapegoat. Thank you. While the minister was delivering his policy statement, we have some very distinguished senators that came in. You know, the minister said he thanked the Senate, the National Assembly, for the support, the relationship we've had with them, and you could see in the attendance. We have Senator Mustafa Habib, also member Senate Committee on Tertiary Education, here with us. Sir, you're welcome. We have Senator Pam Dachangyang, member Senate Committee on Tertiary Education, and also Chairman Committee on Tourism. Sir, you're welcome. We also have Senator Onyekachi Nwegbonyi, Deputy Chief Whip of the Senate. Sir, you're welcome. And I'm happy the Deputy Chief Whip is here, so that when anybody does anything, the whip is available. We have distinguished Senator Neda Imaswen. Sir, you're welcome. We also have in our midst the DG of the Nigerian Law School, in person of Dr. Olugbesola Titilayo Odoshote. Ma, you're most welcome. Ambassador. Malang. Thank you very much. We have Senator Ambassador Abdul Hamid Malam Madori also with us here. Sir, you're welcome. Babangida. We also have Senator Babangida Husseini. Sir, you're also welcome. We have CP Fatai Owosheni also with us here. That is the man that arrested Evans. So we welcome you, retired but not tired. CP Ahmed Bello. CP Ahmed Bello is also here with us. We have Professor Yahuze Bello, Chairman NAPET. For the direct entering component of admission, you will understand as the chairman, the man in charge of NAPET. Sir, you're also welcome. At this point, we'll be going into the business of the day. I want to invite the Registrar, Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, CONFNAL, for the update. And I'll also hand over the microphone to him as he takes over the proceeding. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, PCA. It's not an easy task to order that the minister should do certain things. So please, I'm urging those on the high table to just change the direction. Honorable Minister of Education, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Dr. Maruf Tunje Alausa, CON, Honorable Minister of State for Education, Professor Suwaiba Said Ahmad, distinguished Honorable Minister of Technical and Higher Education, Deputy Minister of Higher Education, Technical and Higher Education, Sierra Leone, who is also here with us, Mr. Zajo Aziz Kamara, the distinguished senator, who is the chairman of Tertiary Education and TED Fund, my brother, Senator Dan Sadao. And I must mention Professor Shuaib Salis, the chairman of cybersecurity in the Senate, who is the architect, as the minister acknowledged, of CAPS. In 2017, he was in the bedroom of CAPS. He was the one who brought it into action. And then, as just a supporter of Jamb, we never knew that he would become the senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Professor Shuaib Salis, although Mr. Shuaib, Senator Shuaib Salis will recognize and respect you. My permanent secretary, Federal Ministry of Education, Mr. Abel Olumuyiwa Enitan. My colleagues are ES of and Chief Executive of NUC, NCC, MBT, Law School, DG Law School, NYSC, and others who are here, and distinguished senators and members of the House of Representatives who are here. Please permit me to recognize all of you as a group, not to call you as an individual. I must also acknowledge my colleagues, my friends from Sierra Leone, the Vice Chancellor, Chairman, Committee of Vice Chancellors of, they call it Conference of Vice Chancellors and Principals in Sierra Leone, Professor Edwin Mama, who is also the Vice Chancellor of Agnes Bai Koroma University in Sierra Leone. Please stand to be recognized. Also accompanying the Honorable Minister, Deputy Minister of Education, you have Professor Bashir Koroma, the VC of Unjala University, they don't in Sierra Leone. The provost, vice chancellors, and rectors. The registrars of the universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education, and the directors of admission. Permit me to also recognize the directors of Jamb and staff members of Jamb. Directors of Jamb, can you rise to be recognized? You won't see them because they are on their, where are they? Okay. They are just few there, and they will be queried for being here because they are all on their duty posts. I'm only symbolically recognizing them, knowing fully well that they are manning different positions in this exercise. Members of staff of Jamb, other functionaries of the federal government of Nigeria here, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Please permit me to welcome you to this edition of the 2026 National Policy Meeting. And we are going to be very, very fast about it because we are not going to, we have said most of these things annually, so we don't need. That is Jamb mandate. The Jamb mandate is placement of qualified candidates. And the rules, we must follow vacancy, that's what our law says. Guidelines by the proprietor. The federal government gives its own, the state government gives its own, and the private people, they give their own. But once they declare, it is the duty of Jamb to enforce. For the federal government, it's 45 policy on merit, 35 on the catchment, and 20% on educationally less disadvantaged. And most states had adopted that, except Delta, that says its own is merit all the way. So, and the preferences of the candidates, you cannot force any candidates. And that's why we tell people if you want to go to institution and you are not sure of what you will score and you want just merit, go to Delta. They don't care where you come from. It's on the basis of merit. And it's for first degree, national diploma, and NCE. Our law prevents us from postgraduates and HND. So when people are talking of HND not going on NYC, I always tell them that what concerns an Agbero with overload, Jamb is not concerned with ND. Minimum age is a consistent policy, and I thank the Honorable Minister of Education for saying it again. It's a consistent policy. Age 16 is a minimum year for entry. The policy trust is there. As far as 1981, the National Policy on Education stipulates Section 7, subsection 2 as follows. The minimum entry age for admission into university, polytechnics, and colleges of education shall be 16 years. So it is so clear and so stated in that policy of education. When people are started saying, oh, they invented it, and so on. A consistent authority, same law. And you can see Section 8, Section 10 of Minimum Standard of Education. The then Honorable Minister in 2004 wanted it to go to 18. But when the thing was proposed there, you said no, it should remain at 16. And that the Honorable Minister agreed with you and said with effect from 2025, it should be 18. But before 2025, while we are still implementing 16, there was a change in the ministerial appointment, and the new minister said remain 16 and do not go to 18. But the basis of the 18 for the former minister was that you spend 6 years by law before you go to primary school. 6 years in primary school, 3 years in junior secondary, and 3 years, there is no way it will not be 18 years. But because we know that except Lagos State, there is no state now with primary 6 again. They run from primary 5 to secondary school. They keep 1 year. And so many other sharp things that people do. That's why they come to 16. So, you know. So, but for year 16, you can see 16 years for 2024. That was, the current minister maintained the existing national policy and said it should be 16, as specified by subsection 2 of section 7. Provision was made for exceptionally brilliant age, brilliant underage. You know, our people in Nigeria, when they talk at times, you would think they are talking to, you wouldn't know where they are coming from. Somebody will tell you, there was somebody who became a professor at age 12. You are mentioning that person because it's exceptional. How many of them can you mention? So you are not talking, maybe in 20 years, you will talk of 2 or 3 of such people. They are exceptional. That's why you are mentioning them. If it is normal that everybody goes there at age 16, at age 17, you wouldn't have made mention of them. So, but you see people, even those who go to school, they will still be mentioning that I know of somebody, maybe in the last 10 years, he knows of just 4 or 5. And that is why in our own policy, we do not close the door against them. Some people say, when you know you are not going to admit them, why are you allowing them to take the form? We give them form to sign, and they sign an undertaking that I want to prove that I'm exceptionally brilliant candidate. It may be 1 in a million, but we must not close the door to that one individual. And that is why we allow them to register as underage. And last year, 2025, 41,027 applied that they were brilliant. Okay, good. And they signed an undertaking. The father signed, the mother signed, but immediately after the exam, they started putting pressure on the president, on the minister, on the House of Senate and Representatives, persuade Jamb to waive it and so on. Of course, those people are reasonable enough and they are committed enough to national cause. And that is why we allowed them to go through the stages. And only 85 of them were adjudged to be qualified and they were admitted. 85 of them, they are exceptionally brilliant. Statistically, Globally, they are not supposed, out of 2 million, to be more than 8. They are not supposed to be more than 8. That is the national statistics. But if you capture 85, perhaps the 8 will be among them. That was why you have the 85. Because all over the world, they are asking us, how can the brilliant students be up to 85 out of 2 million? It's not, it doesn't follow. Because they are exceptional, they are supposed to be 1 or 2 in a million. But you have the 85. Jamb has received resolve. Jamb has received reports of some institution conducting admission outside camps. I want to thank the Honorable Minister for Education. The successive ministers have been saying it since 10 years ago. Don't admit outside camps. But you will go and put pressure on the minister. And that was why the minister, Adamu, at one point, condoned up to 2020. And we had over 1 million of such admitted people were processed. But out of these 1 million, less than 400 had the O-level results. So we cleared only 400,000. 600, you have somebody who is studying medicine without biology, somebody who is studying engineering without mathematics. All those ones, despite the ministerial approval, we did not approve them because the institutions are issuing illegal admission letters to candidates proposed or recommend. They will not propose them on Jamb, on CAPS. They will not propose them on anything on the appropriate, and they will just admit them. We have been taking actions because we do not want to demarket the institutions. That's why we don't make. Some of you have seen 2 or 3 vice chancellors. I won't mention your name. That we have asked you to refund the money. Some of you to refund the money from all the candidates you admitted. You have asked you to go and register them for A-level at the expense of your universities. And we are monitoring to ensure that you do so. Because the Honorable Minister, when I approached him, said, please don't approach me. I will not condone. In fact, it took understanding of what is going on in NCE to announce today. He announced condonement for NCE. So that don't come back and say, Minister said he had condoned your own. You better continue to go the route you are going. High-scoring post-UTME candidates are being encouraged to change. Another way where people are now trying to defeat CAPS is that candidates who score 320, candidates who score 300 over 400, they will now secretly send message to them and say, you will not be admitted for medicine, you better change to biology. And we will see those students changing, and we will think they are changing on their own. When we now ask them, we now realize that the institution were asking them to change so that to bring up their own lower candidates, because they know CAPS will not allow them to go with this high scoring. And that is why we prevent any institution now from having access directly to the candidates, because we have their telephone number as trust to us. And until they are admitted by your institution, we will not have access to their telephone. The issue of contacting them does not arise. And we have insisted that those students who are forced to change, to write to us, and we have invited all the institutions, go and revert them back to where they were. Jamb has issued formal queries to affected. Appropriate sanctions have been applied. There is a gentleman who took us to court about 4 or 5 days ago, and he gave conditions. But when we invited him and we showed him, a prominent man in this country, what we have done, he discovered that we have done more than he was even demanding for, and he had to apologize. He said the institution called him and asked him to give his account, that Jamb has asked them to refund the school fees. But he refused. I said, if you refuse, that's your own problem. We have given the instruction, because if we demarcate those institutions and your children graduate from that institution, what will happen? So that's why we try to manage and take appropriate action, not to condone what they are doing. Findings indicate under the table admission are still being done by low quotas. 4 days ago, I invited and held a meeting with the Registrar of Medical Data of Council, my sister, the Council of Legal Education, I think she's here, the DG, and the pharmacists and the nursing. We had a meeting where we all agreed that One, and please take note, you know you used to have attrition of 10%. They unanimously agreed. DG Law School, where are you? You are here. Aha. So if I say what you did not say it here. They unanimously agree that even the attrition will not stand. That henceforth, once you finish your quota, you will not be able, we allow 10% for those who will fail. And they unanimously, the medical and dental, the nursing, and say, keep within your quota. But they still have issues to resolve with NUC, and I've directed them to NUC. Institutions are advised to engage professional regulatory bodies and get their quota there. Don't come and disturb Jamb, because it is not Jamb. We don't want to admit a medical student that will finish without being registered by the Medical and Dental Council. The same thing for pharmacy, the same thing for nursing. But all the others, the Honorable Minister has deregulated them. All those laboratory, all these other ones. And we are just faced now with engineering, medicine. How I wish they would add teachers to it, but they have not added that. Nursing, law, and so on, because of the importance. Currently in court on this illegal admission, there are 3 or 4 cases now in court of people you admitted, and they are saying that you ought not to have admitted them because you don't have the authority. And when they come to us, we disown them. So they are suing the Honorable Minister, the Jamb, and your university. And the Honorable Minister will just minute to me, handle the matter. And even NUC, I've asked them to start adding NUC because it's the author of the universities that are bringing the problems. Now, first per session, there is in Nigeria many people, and it's so general. At times when I sit in my office in Jamb, I say, am I mad? Because if people are saying something, and what they are saying is persistent, you begin to think it is true. I've seen many parents on television saying, Jamb posted my child to go and do exam in Sokoto or in Calabar, but the child stopped, last year. We took a decision last year. When this persisted, we offered 1 million. And we said, anybody who is sure that we post his child to a town other than where he had chosen, we will give 1 million. And we ask you to choose anybody as your judge, as arbiter. About 80 people chose Federal Consumer and Competition Protection Commission, FCCPC. And we said, good, we submitted to them. 80, bring your evidence. None. FCCPC thoroughly investigated the case and wrote to us just last week. Look at their letter, 30th April 2026. All the complainants have been contacted and informed of the outcome of the investigation, as well as the commission decision to close the investigation due to lack of sufficient evidence to substantiate their claim of erroneous posting outside their sole examination towns, unquote. We are still telling you, it persists, but it is not true. Bring one. And 1 million is good enough for you. Just bring one. Just as we can tell you, Jamb in the last 10 years, you cannot find where they say Jamb admitted somebody who is not recommended by your institution. It's not possible. Technology, if I have a candidate that I believe you ought to have taken, I will have to call you. Why did you drop this candidate? Because the technology will not allow me to do it. It has to be initiated. Even you as vice chancellor, you can't initiate admission. It's only the admission officer. Admission officer, is that not true? Aha. And it's there. It's there. Many of you don't read it. That if you do anything, because you are the gatekeeper, if you do anything, you will go to jail for it. Even if your vice chancellor asks you to do it. So anything that you do not recommend to the VC, he cannot approve. So why would Jamb then be able to do it? You are the one, anyone not done. And that's why those that are being tried now are admission officers. We have no business with your VC because you recommended to him. So yes, you recommended to your VC and you should be held responsible for it. because the VC has so many things to do. And he can say, if you do not recommend, the worst that a vice chancellor can do is to remove you, and you go with your honor. Request for change. Immediately policy meeting, many of you start asking for change. Committee of Provost, you pleaded. I have your CVSU, you intervened, and so on, to extend the program, the closing date. Please, this year, there will be no extension. Please, go on. Affiliate degree awarding institution. We are not dealing with awarding affiliates now, because we have seen that some of you will admit a candidate for another program to your affiliate institution, and you now come to Jamb and change that person to law or to medicine. We are all affiliated institutions. You must deal with your mother institution. We have cancelled all your portals with us. You have a sub-portal, but under your mother, and you must go through your mother. Jamb is your father, so but you must go through your mother. What is new in Jamb? Fake UTME slip by international syndicates. We are now receiving from UK, from Cameroon, and so on. People who, because of the credibility of Jamb, are now using Jamb slip for what is on. You can see the one on the left. This one is from Cameroon. Syndicates are now moved abroad, presenting UTME results for various purposes: admission into foreign university at A-level, employment, scholarship, visa application. Some institutions are accepting UTME results as certificates because they said they believe in us. We are using this medium to say UTME is a ranking test, not an achievement test. You cannot admit somebody or do anything or believe that a UTME certifies somebody. It is not so. It's a ranking exam and not an achievement test. We are saying UTM cannot be used as accurate representation of ability, because it's a quiz that you do in 30 minutes. The latest forgery is from Cameroon. This is the one you are having there. Somebody scoring 395 over 400. If we could have put 295, maybe Cameroon would not have sent it to us. But look at a thief. He wants to steal the whole thing. And you can see he forged my name, forged my signature. And when I spoke with him, he said it's Shaitan, it's Satan that is already in custody. Yes. Attempt to use UTME suite to acquire visa. That's another one. You go to, and all those ones, we are saying that it's not possible. The document has been provided. Many institutions, including agencies all over the world, now rely on our certification, and we will not abuse that privilege. Remote authoring and moderation system. We thank you, our authors. You know we have made things easy for you, and without reducing your money. When we were starting these ramps, I told you, I beat my chest, and I told you, your fear is that the money we are paying you will be reduced. No, we are not going to reduce it. Let go that way of technology. And you have seen what has happened this year. We now have ramps. That is, last year we moved from form to single item. And this year, we have also moved to RAMS. That is remote authoring management system, where you sit in your university and you give us the question. And all this we are now doing without reducing because we have reduced it. The cost of flight and all other things, it's a saving to us. So we don't need to reduce your commission. And we are doing that. All of you can testify that by day before yesterday, you are sending text message that I kept my promise. This reduces cost for everybody. Creation of marketplace. We have also created a system where your student that you want to contact, you can now contact them and they will respond, but through Jamb. Everything you are doing with them until their admission is being done through Jamb. You don't have their email, you don't have their telephone, but you contact them, but everything that you are sending to them, a copy is on our system. And if we do not okay it, it will not go. The communication is available. Please go back. The communication channel is available to admission officer under candidate communication menu. I hope all of you, admission officers, you have it. Institution can request for additional block of SMS, but at your own expense. We are giving you just 50,000 naira. Once you exhaust that 50,000 naira, you pay. Go on. Accept enlistment of national matriculation list. You know, accept admission within stipulated period. You print original and Jamb original admission letter. That is still the rule, and it must be done. I welcome the ES of the richest agency in Nigeria, the ES of TVC, my brother, my former permanent secretary, Professor Dr. Echonu. You are welcome. Now, NIPES. Professor Yausa, are you here? Please, thank you. Stand to be recognized. Former Vice Chancellor of BUK. What is NIPES? NIPES is Nigeria Integrated Post-Secondary Education Data System. It was established by Jamb in 2021 with the approval of the Honorable Minister of Education. And it is to screen A-level qualification. Because we were embarrassed that year that 148 A-level was sent for verification. Only 6 were genuine. 142 were declared fake. And to create a central database that to enable Jamb to verify authenticity, and additional benefit of it is that the applications are now quantified and ranked. We thank Professor Yausa because we do not want that to divert our attention. But what is the outcome? You can see the number we sent for verification through Professor Yausa, and that is 2025. ND, they have 50 fake. You can see it on the head. They returned as fake, 50 out of them. That's what we call disowned at the extreme end. HND 1, NCE 23, and that's why the new policy of the Federal Ministry of Education and NCE, please, the institution, the colleges of education in particular, you have to be careful. People you recruited from and the minister had directed, you must do this uploading of their results through Jamb, so that you don't waste their years, 4 years, 5 years, and then you rusticate them. You can see the number, and university diplomas, 71, had been disowned. For this, for 2024, 145, but for this year, 2025. But for 2024, it was 208, which means it's going down, you know, from 208 to 145. Now, which are the universities that they fake most? Nasarawa State University, you can see, Olabisi Onabanjo, Abuja Anyigba, I don't know why they like that university. They fake their certificate 29. University of Jos 35. These are the 71. And I must thank those vice chancellors. Because some of you will say, that is, I rather keep quiet than saying what is bad. You will not return the result. And when we find out, you tell me on phone, you know they fake it. Declare that they fake. These vice chancellors that are declaring, they are not wicked. They are just saying it in order to sanitize the system. And that's why we are punishing those, and you will come to that. Those who do not report. For next year, your direct entry, and we have started it this year, we will not admit any candidate with your diploma unless you pre-verify. You must pre-verify. When they come and register, we say, no, we can't conclude your admission until your university verifies you. And that delays them. And your alumni will not be happy with you. But because you have no credibility with Jamb, that is why we were doing so. No degree certificate internally was disowned this year. Go on. List of institutions for NCE. Federal College of Education, Zaria, 13. And you can see the order. It's going down, but these are the colleges of education. Polytechnics, that they are forging their certificate, you can see. The one with 10, that is Jigawa State. Honorable Minister, don't worry. Honorable Minister of State, don't worry. Aushi Polytechnic. And from foreign, they forged a degree of medical degree of that university from India, When we sent it, India said no, it's a fake something. Now you can see, these are institutions that we are thanking you. They are large. We send the request, but look at their response. ABU, for instance, we sent 2487. They replied 2461, either good or yes. No response on 26 yet. But look at Federal University, where my sister is the VC. They have 1,000, but they are still holding 106. You have done enough, because some are just 10, 20. We can't use percentage to punish you. But please, these are institutions that you have done very well by responding. Look at the rate of responding, 90%, 93%. But what is remaining for you is still important. 26 is large. 25 is large. The same thing goes for ABU and so on. Then go to the next one. Now, institutions with 20 and more that are not, that have with us and they are withholding, which your ongoing admission, your certificate will not be recognized until the candidate will come, and we will suspend their registration until you pre-verify. And that's not good for you, because your alumni will not be happy with you. If there are 145 fake A-level certificates from 10%, you know admission direct entry is 10%. You can now imagine what is going on with the 90% that Jamb is not verifying. So we are calling all of you to continue to verify. Look at what BUK did this year. VCBUK, are you here? VCBUK. Okay, please clap for Vice Chancellor Bayero University. We thank you. Bayero University expelled a number of them, this direct entry this year. And that's very bold, but it is too late. Some of them are qualified as medical doctors, lawyers, because they have spent 6 years, 7 years in the university before you detect. Whereas, if we have established NIPED at that time, it would not have been possible. You know, we established NIPED in 2021. All those people you expect, they were admitted before checking them. But they are doctors, they are lawyers. You did the right thing, but people are complaining. Why did you wait that far? But because the institution were not replying to you, you showed evidence that you wrote to them, they were not replying until the people are graduated, and they eventually replied that it was fake. Please, clean certificate of institution. Go on. Vital statistics for 2025 admission. We advise our desk officers, national tolerable minimum score was established. Look at what happened in 2025 admission exercise. Institution, we have 1,725 institutions admitting, 2,054,000 applied. Direct entry among them are just 75,000. And those who score 140, there are 1 million. Those who score 200 among them are 544 on the extreme end there. But by the time we started, those who have O-level, 5 O-level, plus English and Maths, there are 1,382,000. These are the real candidates. And 547 of them, 1,000, had Maths with DE. If there is no waiver of Maths, this figure, 547, will have been the candidates. But with the waiver of Maths for non-essential, that's why we are able to admit what we... Total admission, as at 9th May, is 1,012,000 out of the targeted 1,036,600. If minimum score of 200 is used, from where would the institution source the candidates? Go on. Now, score range. You can see number of applications. You can see those who have 300 and above. You can see those who have, and look at 120 to 139. People say it's very low. It's very low. It's out of ignorance. There are 7,821. And those who have 100 to 119, they are just 305. And some people say they are from one state or the other. It's not so. They are all from Nigeria. Look at it. Kaduna has the highest of those low scorers that we admitted. Nasarawa, Benue, Plateau, Borno, Kano, Adamawa, Oyo, Kogi, Yobe, Gombe. There is an anchor of all states of the Federation. So it's not limited to a particular institution. And by state of origin, you can see them. Not state of origin now, you can see them. Please go on. It covers the whole 37 states of the Federation. So the argument that they are from somewhere is not true. Now, ongoing admission, you can see the degree. The quota we have for degree is 1,060,900, but total admission done so far, 785,180. NCE 24,000. Out of what? We have quota of 234,000 for NCE, 234,981, and we have admitted only 24,000. You can see. So you can see quota not used, 89%. So reason why there are vacancies and wide gap, we gave the reasons for MBBS. Everybody wants to read MBBS. Second, for first degree of law, underage. All these reasons we are including mismatch, absent from post-UTME and so on. Now, tentative strategies with UTME high score. Some people will say, why are you not admitting people above 300? Look at it. We have 1,641 candidates today who score above 300 and they have not been admitted. Why? Because they want to read medicine, they want to read law, they want to read code because they have read something before and so on. So there is nothing you can do except to expand. So you can see law, look at it, and that's where they come from. 200 and so on. Engineering, sciences, MBBS, social sciences, and that. Sensitization. You can see no result uploaded is 0 now this year. Faculty in order of application. I pity myself as a teacher. Look at education. We have a quota of 198,000. Those who apply, they are lower than even the quota. By the time you screen them, you see, you have 122,000 admitted, thanks to the dual mandate of the Ministry of Education that made that happen. Even in the past, they won't get this 122. And you can see that 73% of BA to A. But look at medicine. You have just 148,000. Those who apply at all, there are 433,000. You can see. So, or go to law. 10,000 spaces, but those who apply are times 5, 58,000. You can see. And they have 10,000. So go on. That is a representation of quota. You can see education. The supply is more than demand. Even you can now, but you can see pharmacy. Look at the demand. Look at the quota. Look at sciences. Look at social sciences. Look at law. Look at engineering. Go on. Even in our colleges of education, we are mismanaging. We are using the medicine of stomach ache for headache. So you can see the arts. Go back. You can see 9,000 in arts and 5,000. Whereas it's supposed to be the opposite for the humanities. Yes. And in the polytechnics, we thank you. Rectors, please clap for yourself. It has improved now. Science, technology, and non-technology. Non-technology is going down, while technology is going up. This is a very salutary development. We must thank the Ministry of Education for some TVET decision taking, which is having the effect on that. Ongoing admission of blind candidates. You know, that's Professor Peter Okebukola, my mentor, and some members of the Professor Peter Okebukola, former years of NUC. When he was CS, I was just director of academic planning in the University of Ilorin. You can see the gap between me and him. But he had made himself so available to Jamb at no cost to us. He does everything. Tomorrow, he's organizing stakeholders for under 16. I believe all vice chancellors had been invited for under 15. How to give support to the under 16. He's doing that with his Members of GEOG who are here, can you rise? You are the vice chairman, Professor Yauta. Represent, let's clap for you. Thank you. Yes, go on. You can see, these are institutions that we are grateful to for taking the blind people. Apart from paying we refund their fees, we pay for those who accompany them to the examination, we put them in good hotel, we feed them for 2 days, and we conduct an exam for them because we want equal opportunity for all. We thank you can see them, University of Lagos, Nsukka, and so on, up to those who admit 2-2 among them, 1-1, you can see. If your name is not on that league, you must go and put your name there by admitting one of these educational disabled. You call them disabled, but we call them, what do we call them? So people with disability. Now, this is our admission. In the last, since 2008, you can see, 301, you can see. And this year, for the first time, we crossed the million, and it's still going on, because many are still doing. We have 1,012,616, unprecedented. Unprecedented. This is the effect of policy meeting when a ministry formulate policies that are based on data. We must thank the Ministry of Education and we are not counting now, part-time, all those ones. We are not counting them. We are talking of those who are on full-time studies. We have removed all the part-time and so on. Otherwise, they are about 1.5 million now. UTME registration, we are now in 2026. NIN, we still use it. I don't need to. We have 1,010 CBT centers, professional test centers, and what we do with them, and you can see, we have them. Many people say, why can't Jamb build more center? Why can't they? We ask people, it's not sustainable. Limited to just examination, risk of underutilization and redundancy. And you have the type of thing that you have in Econo-Benmo, what do you call it? Eibano, where we spent a lot of money to build 2 big CBT centers. And one day they were quarreling over IDPU, and they burnt the whole thing with over $1 billion of naira. They got the place in Imo State. They got the place burnt. So, of course, our staff, 4 or 5 staff there, will be overpowered. So we can't do all those things. It is private individuals and establishment that should establish them. But we have our model one, and we have them in Owerri, Kaduna, and so on. You can see Jamb funded PTC, 25 of them. NCC, we thank the NCC, National Communication Commission, funded 17 for us. Jamb and NCT, we funded 11, and privately funded, donated by Alhaji Ahmed Raji from, you can see, this Muhammadu Buhari PTC Center in Kaduna is totally owned by Jamb, and it has 1,200 seating capacity, conducting exam for 4,000 candidates per day. That's another one, Jamb Mega in Owerri. That Owerri one will conduct exam for 750 at a time. That's over 3,000 in a day. Yes, continue. That is Benin. That's the newly acquired there now, owned by Jamb. We bought this out 330 million from Amcon. So you can see Nasarawa. Go ahead, in Lafayette. You can see this is what Ahmed Raji did for us, free of charge, and handed over to us in his saying. May God bless Ahmed Raji SAN. Yes, this is what Zulum, the governor of Borno, is building for us. Can you clap for the governor of Borno State? We were asking for land, and while we are persuading some governors and they are reluctant, when he saw our plan, he said, please keep your money. And he started this thing less than 5-6 weeks ago. Both the building and the house is almost completed by Governor Zulum of Borno State. This is a good example. I pray that the Honorable Minister will create the time to commission it, because the governor said he wanted to celebrate my exit, that I will finish it before I exit. That's what he promised. So, Senator Shuaib, if Borno is doing that to celebrate me, Ogun, where I come from. Declaration of previous registration and admission. Many of you would say, why do we want concern Jamb to be looking at those who applied before? It's not an offense for you to apply before, but you must disclose. The best candidate this year, UTME, happened to be a 300 level medical student. And when we checked our system, prop it up, there was then we realized, and we went to check, and we saw that a large number of 200, 300 students, some of them for good reasons. They accepted courses that they don't like. So they are trying. We open it to them. But you must disclose that you have a subsisting admission. You have the freedom to do it. So that is why we had to ask the Medical and Dental Council to accredit that 300 level student. He has the right to start 200 level, but you can't run 2 undergraduates simultaneously. So those of you who are celebrating people with UTME, we always tell you, you want it, but that's not the end of the game. Each candidate was made to delete, go back, go back please. Having previously been admitted must be. Failure to disclose such prior admission is an offense. If you have a subsisting, you are a student of and for those of you vice chancellors, we send letter to you, you probably did not understand. What we send to you is that this is your candidate. He's a registered student, 200 level, 100 level, 300 level in your university. But he was caught for impersonating, writing another exam for another candidate. And that's why we are writing to you that you should invoke the matriculation oath to deal with them, because they represent your university. Some of you are saying he said he applied because he wanted to. That's not the offense. The offense is that he was caught writing the exam in the name of another candidate. And we believe that you must now invoke the matriculation oath to which he subscribed, to now take him through your own disciplinary committee and expel him. So that's the purpose of writing to you. Those who merely apply, they have committed no offense. But those who are caught writing for others are the ones we are sending to you. Live coverage of registration exercise. You know, from this year, I know the press was agog against Oloyede. This Oloyede is looking for trouble. We know that the beginning of examination malpractice is registration. That is why we are saying, if we don't view you when you are registering the candidate, we will not accept and we will not pay you. You know the candidates pay you, but they pay through us. So we withhold the money until we are sure that you did the right thing. When we return the money, we have released over 3 billion naira to you now, all the CBT centers. But we have over 400 million we are still withholding because we couldn't view you when you are registering them. Not to be tolerated again, management had decided that we pay you for the last time, that those of you we couldn't view, since the candidates had conducted the exam, we will release your money. Jamb will continue to support persons with disability. We continue to give them audio book. We continue, but those who sit in foreign countries, take note, please go back. The rules are still there. It must be a non-Nigerian or a Nigerian who is a product of foreign secondary school, not somebody from Nigeria who quickly go and register in Ghana because his father has the money. Nigeria who is confirmed resident in a foreign country for at least 6 months, not somebody who goes there for the purpose of exam. Go on. Jamb awaiting result. What people are saying that we don't have only is not true. Summary of registration. You can see from 2025 to 20, direct entry is going down from 168,000. Because immediately we started screening, it was going down. Because they knew you were not screening them before. You can see going down now from 168,000 to 52 because they know they cannot go. Certificate verification is going on. Reports. Go on. Accurate data, detailed analysis, you can see. 2025 UTME application by first choice. Degree, you can see. Look at the degree. 89% people want to go there. But look at what is happening now. The effect of dual mandate. Look at what is happening now in education. NCE, you can see total application. 25, total application 25, but they are, those who are admitted are just 15,000 because they now have degree in the same college and they are now enrolling straight because they have the 5 credits. That's why the NCE would still go down, and that's why the ministry took a decision that NCE go and recruit them in your locality, but they must be certified and their letter of admission must come from CAPS. We want to thank the Honorable Minister because that's database decision. Institution, you can see degree very tall and NCE very low. And application by state of origin. These are state of origin. Some of you will go and establish CBT center in Oyo and so on. You are wasting your money. This is by state of origin, not state of examination. This is state of origin. You will come to, because some people will take our data and say, I can't get candidates because you said they were high. This is by state of origin, not by state of examination. Go on. And please go back. The media also makes some mistake. They are forgetting that this is a raw score. It's not normalized score. You cannot compare Zamfara with Lagos and Kano because the population is different. You can't take absolute score for an academic exercise. Normalized figure based on population percentage is the most appropriate. Not just appropriate, you take Zamfara. How many people in terms of population? You can get 20 of Zamfara in Lagos State. And Lagos State will say, I'm making progress. This cannot be, should be by population. Is that clear? So, application by state of origin, go on. Now, by state of origin and gender, God save us, the women are taking over. You can see. You can see the women from Oyo to Ogun to Osun. Look at it. It used to be in the East alone. More female candidates from 22 states of the Federation. They are becoming, we are threatened now as male. We need to go and get affirmative action. Who will marry them? So in order to not to make them prepare them well, you need to prepare the boy child too. Because it's the boy child that will marry the girl child. Yes. By faculty, you can see education, I pity you. The quota is high, but very low application. But look at medicine, look at sciences, look at social sciences, look at humanities, arts and humanities, look at Greek. That's the situation. Go on. Technology, non-technology. You can see 137, normal application, it should be 70-30. That's what our rule says. We are moving towards that. This is first choice. This is art-based attendance 60-40. This is still not good for us. It's supposed to be 40-60. Go. Now, top 10 universities in terms of subscription. The highest subscribed institution is Lagos State University or Jamb. You can see. And it's coming from nowhere. Look at 2021. They were not part of top 10. In 2022, they are not. But from 2023, they came third, second, and now first. Look at University of Lagos. It has always been second. It could pass, it could fail, it could So you can see University of Lagos, Obafemi Awolowo, low profile, night 777 night. Hello, why you there? Hello, in there. University of Ibadan is now coming up. You can see not top 10, they become 10, they are now becoming 6th. University of Benin, it is retrogressing in terms of subscription. They are no longer, Nnamdi Azikiwe University, you can see, not there. But look at my own University of Ilorin, that used to be first, okay, then became third this year. Because what people are getting, sir, is because in the University of Ilorin, one of the attractions is that they don't go on strike. Many universities are not going on strike now too. So that aspect is not there. So what attracts people, among other things, Vice Chancellor, University of Ilorin, please stand and be recognized. Please stand and be recognized. Yes, because now everybody knows that all other institutions are not going on strike. And when there is strike, University of Ilorin is struggling to still maintain its position of no strike. And that's why would I need to go to University of Ilorin if Obafemi Awolowo is not also going on strike, and so on and so forth. That's what it's accounting for Uni Ilorin, going from first consistently to third. Then for colleges of education, a drama is happening there. And it's very important. Kaduna State College of Education, Gidanwaya, is the only person standing. And you can see, it came second in 2024. It was not in the top 10. But look at the others. Yusuf Bala, they were nowhere. And they just emerged second, third. Can you see them on this side? Fourth, fifth. Why? It is because there is a dual mandate. All those who are competing with Kaduna State College of Education have now been upgraded to dual mandate. And they are no longer, some of them are no longer College of Education. They have become University of Education. So they have left the ground that you can see only Kaduna State and College of Education Taraba, you can see. Those who were not to be had before, they are being had now as colleges of education because the big players have migrated to the other parts. Polytechnics and monotechnic, Kaduna Polytechnics is the big brother up to today. Federal Polytechnic, Ilaro second. Kwara State Polytechnic, you can see the players are still there. The young boys are still young boys where they are. Yes. Challenges during registration, yes. Go ahead. Go ahead. Last, you can see, in 2024, we recognized 4 persons for what they have done for Jamb. Professor Okebukola, Professor Yahuza, Professor Galadanchi, Professor, I forget the name, Nwogu. Please, Honorable Commissioner for Education, stand and be recognized. Not as Commissioner for Education here, but as a great psychometrician in Africa. So we recognize them. And we promise that every year we will be recognizing people. These are directors of Jamb. Go back. These are directors of Jamb who made it possible. They are working. You can see at the center of it, my Mr. Mufta Bello. Mr. Bello, I thank you. This is somebody who came from Futmina, loaned to me by Futmina. Where is the VC of Futmina? Futmina. So we thank you. We appreciate you, Mr. Vice Chancellor, for loaning us Mr. Bello, who was your bossa, and he had done a very good work. He's a good ambassador of your place, manning the finance department, and until recently, manning the registrar's office. He will come back to you before the end of the year. Thank you. Because I have to be pleading with him to stay, and finish with me. Reward incentive. We have Mr. Benga Adebayo. Where is Benga Adebayo? Is he here? Benga, where are you? Please come to the front here. Come to the table. Walk fast, Benga. That main guy is a driver, a senior driver. What do they call them? The highest driver possible. Chief driver. He's a chief driver. When something happened in Jamb, Honorable Minister, we were terrified. We didn't know what to do. And when we didn't know what to do, because some people were kidnapped, and we started negotiating with the kidnappers, and they said they wanted some money. But the issue is who will take it there. The husband and the wives of those who will take it there refused to go. It was this man who offered that I will go. And he went. He went. But I almost died that night. Because when he got to the place, while I was monitoring him with technology and the rest, I just started, you were with me in my room. And we just started fire, back, my head over. We didn't, I had to call the governor of Kogi State, the commissioner of police, the Nigerian army, the other, this my driver.
A, P, and C.